What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be episode 3 of building Theed. This week I was waiting for some parts to come in to make some more progress on the MOC, so I decided to start working on the flash speeder that is going to come through the archway and blow up the AAT. So I came up with a first version and I'm super excited to be able to show that off. And with that all out of the way, let's jump right into it. So one of the things with this MOC that I've been dreading and pushing back is taking apart the Imperial Communications base from 2 years ago. I have still most of it together. I took apart the mountain, but at this point there was just a sea of small pieces that I had used in the filler behind the mountain, as well as the main hangar area. And the reason I needed to take this apart is because the hangar is built on 2 gray base plates that I'm gonna need for Theed. So it had to come apart at some point, and this week I finally sat down and started sorting through all of the little pieces, as you can see. And having my Lego room organized made this so much easier. I could put the majority of pieces right into bins as I went along, and the rest of the pieces I had spaces for them, they just weren't right at the table that I was sorting at. So it made it so much easier to go through and take this apart. One of the most important parts of this MOC is going to be recreating the scene where the Naboo security comes in and blows up the AAT. And in the actual movie, it is a Geon speeder, which is kind of an ugly design and not very recognizable. So I decided to make a flash speeder instead because it's much more recognizable. Everybody knows the flash speeder. It's appeared in Clone Wars and a couple other pieces of Star Wars media. It's just a way more interesting design and I like the look of it a lot better. So I decided to make a flash speeder, and what you're looking at right now is kind of what I came up with after a day of just sitting in studio. And the main goal with this was trying to make it out of exclusively sand green pieces. So as you can see, all of these parts do exist in sand green. And there's a couple things that I want to change, like the back engines here and the way that they attach to the ship. And I think this also should be extended a little bit more to give it more separation from the main chassis. But overall, I like how it came out. I'm still obviously working on this, and I'm going to throw this together in rainbow parts of my collection just to see what it looks like and start messing around with real parts. But definitely a good start. As you can see, it seats 4, or really it seats 3. These 2 back seats, people can't fit in them, unfortunately, side by side because of their arms. But I kind of ran out of space, and that was really the only way that I could do it. But I think it will be fine if I have 2 guys sitting up next to each other and then 1 in the back seat. Don't really need to have full seating back there, and it looks right, so don't think that's too much of an issue. And then the interior, most of this was pulled from an old action figure toy from the Phantom Menace when it first came out, like the steering column and the main screen in the front. And the first thing that I actually started with was trying to make this front section. And if you look at it from the side, it's kind of a weird tapered shape. And then there's a step up here towards the windshield. So I think I did a pretty good job of recreating that. And it's just a kind of a weird shape, so I used these curved slopes, the wedges, and then I flipped this upside down. There's a stud reversal technique in here that I can show you guys. It is the bricks with the bars, and then you just take clips, and the top ones you connect with the studs facing upwards, and the bottom ones you connect with the studs facing downwards, and that just allows you to make an entire stud reversal technique in 2 plates, which is really helpful. So that is the main structure of the front there, and I actually like how this came out. I think the only thing that I don't really love is when you use wedges, there's a little bit of like an indent or a hole that it makes, which I don't know how that's going to look in person. I'm going to have to build this and see what I think. And definitely the whole back section I think is going to get reworked. This was just me, as I said, sitting down for a day in studio, but I definitely like the way that it looks so far, and it's a great start. So I'm going to build this thing in real life and make some much needed changes. So I just got in this package. This is from Blaine's World on Bricklink. If you guys have watched any of my other building series, you'll probably recognize that name. I've ordered from Blaine so many times. He just has some really amazing parts and a great selection as well. So we'll go ahead and open this thing up here. And empty it out. So the main thing that I got from Blaine, I got a bunch of dark blue for the water because I actually have very little dark blue in my collection. And as we said in the first update, we're going to use dark blue underneath the trans black tile. And then the rest are just a bunch of assorted pieces that are useful for just detailing and stuff like that. These are going to be really nice for just random things on feed. Got some tiles, cheese slopes, some 1x2 tiles, a bunch of tiles for the railing, a ton of the cylinders to finish the railing, and some light bluish gray headlight bricks. Some of these, which I had originally got for the lights, although I think I figured out a better way to do the base section of the lights, which will hide all of the wires just as well, and there won't have to be this whole big thing underneath them. And we got some of the gold clips. I have more of these coming in, and some cut wedge slopes, as well as the little quarter round tiles in green. Got a bunch of these. These are really cool, and if I do some round things, it's nice to have the no studs. Got some 1x1 tiles, some 1x1 bricks. These I also got, and I probably won't need. Same story as the 4x4 round plates. Same thing with these, but I got the clear translucent cylinders for the lights. Then we got some more cut tiles and some pieces for the tops of the lights, as well as the balls on the railing. And then we got some 1x1 light bluish gray bricks, a ton of these quarter round tiles in tan, some of these pieces for the foliage around the MOC, and then some of sand green stuff for domes and things like that. So this I'll probably turn into one small dome. Just put these quarter round things in a circle and then put this on top of it and just make like a really small dome, and we'll see what happens with that. So when I was starting out, I wanted to make this out of sand green, but rewatching the scene a few times and just looking at different pictures, it is definitely a more bluish kind of a green. And I originally had just said no to dark turquoise or teal because I thought it was too much of a blue. But I was putting away some parts in my collection, and I have a bag of all of my teal parts. And in person, it is actually a pretty green color, and it honestly looks very similar to the color that we see in episode 1. So my next thing then was to see what parts are available in dark turquoise, and I went through Bricklink, and almost every piece that I wanted in this speeder was available. So what I did was I just took the original design and I just recolored everything to dark turquoise and left the parts that aren't available in sand green. So as you can see, it's most of the model actually. There aren't really very many parts that aren't available, and I want to rework a lot of this anyways, so this is really promising, and I honestly love the color. Dark turquoise is probably one of my favorite colors in Lego, and I really think that this will add a much needed pop of color to Theed. So honestly, at this point, dark turquoise is taking the lead against sand green in my opinion. I don't think I've seen anyone do it in dark turquoise, and now there are a lot of really good pieces available, like this entire front section I can save. So that was kind of the main selling point for me once I found out that this whole thing was good to go. So definitely now going to start heading in this direction. Alright, so this is everything in random colors, but all of the pieces from the speeder that I made on Studio. And as you can see, it scales pretty well with figs. It has the problem that I mentioned with not being able to fit 2 guys in the back seat, but as I said, I think it looks fine. Only thing that I'm missing is the windscreen piece. that I do not have. I have the one from the land speeder, but that one is 6 studs wide, and the one that I need is 4 studs wide. But everything looks pretty good. I mean, the only problem obviously is the colors, and I feel like this is a little crunched here in the back. There should be a little bit of separation between this archway and these engine thingies. So I definitely want to bring this back, and I want to try and switch this out for some wedge plates. When you look at it from the back, it's pretty thick. Doesn't look terrible, but on the actual speeder, it is very, very thin. So definitely want to redo that section, and the engines also seem kind of big and bulky compared to kind of a small and sleek ship. And the underside looks pretty good. Obviously it's rainbow, but I tried to use as much of the inverted pieces as I could. This whole section couldn't be inverted, obviously, because this is all connected with the regular studs showing, and then there are some pieces that just don't exist in the inverted tile or slope. And then this section, I'm not sure what I want to do with this. Once you kind of look at it from any other angle, it looks weird, but from the back I kind of like the way it looks, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. And the cannon I had to change up a little bit. I'm still probably going to change this because I don't love how this looks in person, but I changed this out for a regular clip instead of the bar clip thingy. So this is what we got going on so far, and I definitely like the teal color. On camera it shows up a little bit brighter than it really is, so, but I definitely think that it's a closer color than the sand green. The sand green is pretty minted, and it's not a very bluish kind of color, and when you look at it in the movie, it is definitely a turquoise kind of blue-green. So definitely excited to explore that with the teal, and I'd say it's a pretty good start. So this is the flash speeder so far. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up episode 3 of Building Theed. I actually got a lot of progress done considering I couldn't really touch the main section of the MOC. Super happy with how the flash speeder is turning out, and I'm really excited to start working on the little sections and making them look a little bit better, and then hopefully I can have most of it done by next episode, and then I'll have most of those parts also ordered, so then those will be coming in because I'm super excited to be able to build it in all the right colors and see what it looks like on the actual MOC. And if you guys are interested in the lights that I'm using in this MOC, you can use my code to get $10 off your first purchase at LightMyBricks. So just click the link on the top of the screen if you guys are interested in that. And without anything left to say, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.